Hello and welcome back to Toy Thursday with Johnny Tiger on Thursday, April 29, 2021. Last week, we showed some fatherly figures that had some very adoring daughters that looked up to their daddies, and I'm always a sucker for dynamic and and a bit of comparison and a bit of symmetry. So this week it makes sense to show another kind of family dynamic. This week I'm going to show you guys two fathers that really wished that their children would look up to them and work with them, but in the end they were left with nothing but disappointment. Right off the bat, in front of the camera, this big silver gray dude is the evil robot Ultron. For those of you who watched the Avengers movie, more specifically, this was the second incarnation of Ultron because there was actually three different appearances of Ultron in the Avengers movie, and this one is portraying the second incarnation before he went all super powered and upgraded himself to nearly indestructible level. This is called the Ultron Prime. I acquired Ultron about, I guess, 6, 7 years ago. Had to buy a whole series of figures to build this guy because he was actually a build a figure bonus. You couldn't just buy him; you have to buy all the other figures in the series, uh, and then you can put him together. Which is actually a little bit disappointing because usually build a figure supposed to be quite big. But this Ultron, I mean, he's about 8 inches tall, so he's taller than a lot of the human-sized figures, but he's not quite as massive as what a lot of the other build-a-figure bonus uh, figures should be. Now, with that said, Ultron is an interesting looking character. He looked very humanoid. He has a very general human shape with a broad, heavy upper body and a very slender lower body. You look at his lower half and his upper half, you can see he has a kind of a shape of someone who's very well defined, although there's no actual muscular details there because it's all gray and silver metallic bits and pieces forming his body. So there's no mistaking in him as a human. He definitely looks like a robot, but there's a definite human outline. His head looks like a kind of a shape of a skull with a pair of little spikes, horns on the side of his face. I'm not quite sure what those are. Maybe if someone knows, you can let me know. Um, and this figure has a lot of details, like the ports on the side of his leg, all these metal pieces that come together to form his body part somehow uh, kind of make him look like he has muscles, but they're not. These are just the old metal uh, nuts and bolts and all this stuff that come together. So who is Ultron? Well, Ultron was a computer program. Yeah, not even a robot. Ultron's a computer program built by Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, and Bruce Banner, aka Incredible Hulk. So, two of the most brilliant minds on the planet, Bruce Banner and Tony Stark, got together and said, "Hey, we're always fighting evils when they pop out and surprise us. We might be fighting supervillains in New York, and someone else is causing trouble all the way over there in the UK. We need a better system to monitor uh, threats when they happen." So they decided to make this supercomputer, super AI software, that will help them monitor and keep peace in the world. So the sole objective, the prime initiative they put into this computer program was defend the world or something like that. Keep peace, defend the world, save the world, something like that. Well, I guess you guys can imagine what happened. As soon as the computer program is started, is activated, the AI decided that human being is the biggest threat to the world. So the best way to defend the world is to wipe out humankind. So the computer, don't forget, it was made by Iron Man, Tony Stark. So, and the cats are having a great time fighting each other, distracting me. Um, so you can imagine what's around Tony Stark's uh, work, laboratory, home, a lot of robot armor because he's Iron Man and he liked to build a lot of new armor. So the new computer program, Ultron, started getting into these robotic armor and making them independent, no longer controlled by Iron Man, and started using these robotic suits as the bodies to host the Ultron software. But Ultron is almost unkillable. Basically, Ultron is this. It's not just this robot we are looking at here. This robot is one of Ultron's robotic shells. But if you destroy this robot, Ultron will simply download itself into a new body, a different robot, and just go on and on like that. Like that's why Ultron has been one of the Avengers' biggest enemy, and they just can't get rid of him, no matter what, because he's like a computer virus that just keep passing on and on to new technologies, new spaceships, and new uh, computers, softwares, platforms, satellites, and of course, new robotic body. As if that is not enough, Ultron decided that to help him, we'll call it him, because most of the time Ultron is appear to us as a male entity. Ultron decided to create someone to help him do his work. He decided that he needed some help if he wanted to deal with all the superheroes that keep standing in his way. So he created himself a son who has the ability to manipulate density and matter and can fly and fire energy beams and is solar powered. This is the son of Ultron, aka Vision. This is an old Vision action figure made back then by ToyBiz when they still had the Marvel license. So I believe this was made in 2004 or 2005. So one of my older figures. There were actually two versions of Vision. One in his classic outfit in red, green, and yellow, kind of an ugly combination. He looked like a really skinny guy with a big cape on his back, and he looked like he's wearing spandex. Just a skinny guy in spandex with a big cape on his back, and a bald head with a gem uh, in the middle of his forehead. By the way, that gem in the middle of his forehead, that is there to absorb solar power because that's his energy source. There was another version of Vision that was made that was translucent, transparent, clear, see-through. I'm actually not sure which version I got here, so someone can let me know. I think I got the classic red, green, and yellow version, but I'm not sure. Anyway, long story short, Vision, after being created by Ultron, and, and Daddy Ultron wanted Vision to go lure the Avengers into a death trap, but Vision upon seeing how great the Avengers were working together as a team, was so attracted to them that he abandoned ship, he jumped ship, went over to the good guy's side and helped them destroy Ultron's body. So, yeah, the father and son relationship, needless to say, didn't really work out in this case. But, never a quitter, Ultron tried again. This time he decided he's going to make himself a mate, a daughter that could double as his mate. Now, if that's disturbing or what. So he created this robotic beauty right here. This silver skinned female, her name is Jocasta. Jocasta was, like I said, created by Ultron. Her entire body was made from titanium, so she's super durable, super tough. And was that she her special power was that she had to survive a very annoying kitten that liked to hoard the camera. Where did she go? I, ay, ay, ay. Oh, here. Got knocked off the box by Aslan. This is the third time this happened tonight. I'm really too tired to want to redo this video again, so haha, you guys get to see a little bit of a blooper there. Uh, so yeah, Jocasta, daughter of Ultron, made to be his daughter, his second in command, and his mate. That is really, just really kind of disturbing. Her body is made of titanium, and there is kind of a brief outline of like a bikini on her, but for the most part, she looked really nude. And this is a fantastic uh, figure, female figure, because most of the female figures are very skinny, and but Jocasta here actually has really good musculature. Like this is one good-looking female body, I would say. I just acquired her about 3 months ago, so she's actually quite new. Um, she's all silver, and her head is really interesting looking. She's got this thing, these two spikes that come down the side of her face, kind of like Ultron. But in her case, you can kind of tell that they were trying to make it look like she has long hair, but they end up looking more like horns. Like she has a pair of ram's horns on her head or something. Get off the box. Okay, blooper number 4. Just can't keep that kitten down. I'm really trying to refrain myself from drowning him in the sink at this point. Uh, anyway, so Ultron created Jocasta to be his daughter, thinking, well, hey, Vision didn't work out, but at least the daughter should be okay. Unfortunately for him, very quickly, Jocasta also defected and went over to join the Avengers. And again, she helped the Avengers defeating her own dad, actually sacrificing herself in the process. She didn't really die because Jocasta has the same kind of power that Ultron has, which means she can download her uh, personality, her software into any other robot. Uh, so it was only her body that got destroyed. But yeah, Jocasta is a very interesting character. A lot of people never heard of her. Heck, I never heard of her before I acquired her. The only reason I acquired her was I think the idea of a silver robotic female it's always very interesting to have in the collection. And it wasn't until I acquired her that I read her biography and thought she is actually a really interesting character. She's one of those characters that most people never heard of. Always kind of hovering on the verge of the Avengers, never really fitting in because she's a robot and she's silver and she doesn't even look all that human. And but she's had a very good heart. Almost every time when there's a major threat to Earth, she end up sacrificing herself, getting totally destroyed. Uh, I have to download herself into a new body just to help her teammates survive. So Jocasta is turned out to be a very human robot, a robot with very human traits. Very interesting. So let's bring Ultron and Vision back into the frame so we can at least get one shot of this very unhappy father, son, daughter trio. Even though you guys can't seem to get along, at least we can pretend to have a little bit of unity on camera. As you guys can see, quite an interesting trio here. Ultron, big, hulking, massive, standing in the center. To his right, Jocasta, very shapely, very muscular female form, silver like her dad, and the shape of the head is kind of similar. And then we have Vision, Vision who look kind of odd. Doesn't look like her dad or her sister. Uh, He's very skinny, very slightly built, and he's got this cape and leotard kind of look going on, which is not really flattering for the most part. However, I will say, hold on, let me pick this up. The backdrop get knocked off the box. This got to be the most wacky episode I've ever done uh, for Toy Thursday. Wow, yeah, definitely the most wacky episode that I've done so far. Things keep falling over, and kitten keep jumping on the box, and uh, well, knock on wood, at least I haven't broken anything yet. So Vision uh, is quite interesting in that he has a power. He has very interesting superpower that he can phase himself through people. He can actually convert, like he can change the density of his body. So he can dial his body up to be as hard as diamond, or he can turn it down so his body is nothing but like air. And he can flow through people's body, and then halfway through he can solidify himself. He can damage people that way. He actually used that trick on a lot of supervillains and was able to defeat them that way. He just let his body fade right into theirs, and then he turned himself solid. And yeah, you can imagine how unpleasant that would be. I actually had another family team, another father-children team I was going to show tonight, as I indicated in the beginning, but since it seemed to be one of those nights where things keep falling and keep going wrong, I think we are just going to end it here. I'm going to show the next father-children team next week. Uh, there's an old say in Mandarin that said, the longer the night is, the more nightmare there will be. So let's quit while we're ahead. Thank you for checking out today's Toy Thursday. I'm sorry for the flaky of this episode. I'll be back tomorrow for Fitness Friday. I promise it will be a lot better.